within it very great challenges. There is the war on terrorism, and I think the war on terrorism has been carried out very poorly. The leadership of it has been very poor, and so if you think of it as a war, and that's debatable, but if you think of it as a war, it is not going well. There feels like an increased terrorist threat since 2001, rather than we are getting on top of this and reducing the threat. And one of the things that has most dismayed me in the conduct of this has been the United States and Australia invading Iraq. This seems to me to have played right into Osama bin Laden's hands and have provided a propaganda victory for Al-Qaeda of the First Order. So when the Prime Minister says in his statement today that we need to remain in Iraq indefinitely in order to produce good humanitarian outcomes, in order to produce stability, in order to ensure that Al-Qaeda doesn't have a win, these are precisely the problems that we generated by invading Iraq in the first place, and that the instability that is there, the threat of a win for Al-Qaeda, these sorts of things have been a direct consequence of the decision by the United States and Australia to invade Iraq without a proper United Nations mandate. And the other thing that the Prime Minister talked about today was the idea that we need to be in Iraq in order to secure our energy supplies, i.e. our oil, our petrol. Now, in the first place, this is an astonishing thing to admit now, because for years the Prime Minister and the United States have been saying our motives in being in Iraq were noble motives. We're not there out of economic self-interest. But now they say we're there in order to protect our access to oil. Now, my response to this is that where Australia should be going is in the direction of alternative fuels. It is necessary for environmental sustainability that we look to things like LPG and natural gas to fuel our motor vehicles. The technology's there, the infrastructure's there. I drive an LPG car and I can assure you that its performance and everything else is excellent. So we can do these things. Australia has very substantial reserves of gas from our various offshore reserves, basins and the like, and we should be making use of those reserves rather than saying, oh well, it's necessary for us to remain in Iraq indefinitely, potentially being party to the killing of innocent men, women and children, exposing ourselves to terrorist attack, creating a propaganda coup for Osama bin Laden. On this basis, it's not a basis for us to continue to be there.
What's the latest foreign policy direction in terms of the war on terror?
We believe in working through cooperative international processes. I think the US and the Howard government have been too inclined to sideline the United Nations and say, we know best, and to adopt what is essentially a cowboy attitude, and we'll just go in there and sort everything out because we know best. To make these things work, you need to take people and countries with you, and you need to act according to a consistent standard. I think one of the grievances that people in some of the Islamic countries have is that they see us operating according to double standards, and sometimes we will go in and attack a leader or a regime, and there'll be other regimes that we ignore and have nothing to say about. So that when we say we're acting in support of human rights and democracy, sometimes we are and sometimes we're not. And so people don't accept that we're acting in good faith. So in relation to Iraq specifically, we've said that we will withdraw the combat troops. We'll do this in consultation with the United States and the United Kingdom.